Shalom. So I've been talking to one of my sisters over the past like week or two. And one of the scriptures that we were discussing was in James 1. So it's like verse 13, where he's talking about we should be doers of the word and not just hearers of the word. Because if you're just a hearer of the word, you're like a man who observes his face and goes away and forgets what you look like. And given the context of the rest of the chapter, he's basically saying that, you forget the grace that was given to you by Yahweh. You forget the mercy that Yahweh has shown you. You forget the love that Yahweh has given to you, so on and so forth. A great example of this is in Mattit'yahu, Matthew 18. And that's where it talks about the unforgiving or the unmerciful servant. I mean, depending on the translation is what, unforgiving or unmerciful servant. And so in that parable, it talks about a servant. It was a servant that owed a great debt to the king. And he begged the king to have mercy on him. The king did and forgave him of his debt. Well, that same servant had a fellow servant that owed him money. And he went and demanded the money back from his fellow servant. And when his fellow servant couldn't pay, he had him thrown in jail. Well, other servants that knew about the forgiveness that this servant had received from the king went and told the king that what he had done to his fellow servant. And because of that, not only did the king reverse his decision to forgive him of his debt, he threw him and his family, so his wife and his kids, were thrown in jail, and then eventually, I want to say they were killed, according to the parable. Don't quote me on that part, but I know at least they were put in jail. So not only did he suffer, his wife and his kids suffer because of his unmerciful, his unforgiving heart. Okay, so first and foremost, it's not just your soul that's on the line. I mean, for me, I have a son. So I don't want my son to suffer because of some stuff that I did. But neither here nor there. Just saying that, whatever you were given, give it back. Abba not only rescued me from the occult when I originally gave my life to Yeshua HaMashiach, but then he rescued me from a backslidden state that I should have died in. There was multiple times where I almost died and he didn't allow it. So how would I turn around and say, oh, well, you did this to me and I'm mad and I'm not going to forgive you, so on and so forth. A good example that I'm going to use, I'm going to be transparent, on this walk that I'm on right now, as Yahweh is revealing more and more of his word to me, and Ruach HaKodesh is speaking to me more and more about what his word is truly saying, I do have to find myself continuously repenting of pride. It's very easy to become prideful when you're receiving all this knowledge. Because, well, I'm not even going to say because, but I am going to say it's very easy to become prideful. So I have to consistently ask him to keep me humble, because pride comes before a fall. So I don't ever want to come off as prideful to my fellow man, because reality of it is, at one point in time, I didn't know this information. So why not be patient and loving and kind towards those that don't know like I do? Or the ones that are hostile towards it. At one point in time, I was hostile towards it. So why not be patient with those that are hostile towards it? You know what I'm saying? Like, it really does, when you think of it that way, and you remember how you were, and how gracious and patient and kind and loving and merciful and gentle. I mean, right now I'm naming a lot of the fruits of Ruach HaKodesh. So at the end of the day, that should tell you something about this message. Walk in the fruits of Ruach HaKodesh. Love, joy, peace, kindness, gentleness, patience, long-suffering, self-control. Because you could be in a situation where you either have a reprobate mind, or you don't even have a relationship because you were just hostile towards it's an honor that he has chosen any of us, because he didn't have to. He's the self-existing one. That's what Yahweh means. The self-existing one. He does not need us, but he wants and chooses us, and that is an honor. And so in order to show him gratitude, you know, obedience is a form of worship. And it is very obedient when we love on our fellow man the way he tells us to, out of the gratitude that we have towards him. Because if we say thank you and I'm so grateful and all this other stuff, but then we turn around and we beat up on our fellow man because they don't have it all together or they're struggling and so on and so forth, then we are lying. We're not really gracious. We're not really grateful, because we're over here like being mean towards our fellow man, okay? And yes, I'm talking about those who are unbelievers as well. Now, there is a time for righteous indignation. Ruach HaKodesh will lead you into that. That's not something, don't just take the scripture for where Yeshua was flipping tables in the temple and you use that as an excuse to be a jerk, because he had a reason for it. There is an actual reason why he went through and flipped over those tables. And it goes beyond the fact that, oh, they were buying and selling in his father's house. It goes beyond that. There was a reason he did it. So don't just be a jerk to people and say, oh, well, Jesus flipped tables, because you're deceiving yourself at that point. And you're going to wind up in a place that you don't want to be in, underneath the wrath of a God that you don't want to have. You don't want to experience his wrath. All right. But I do love you guys so very, very much. And hope you're having a great day today. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm trying to make sure that these people are driving. Maybe I should make these videos while I'm driving. Anyway, I love you. Shalom Aleichem.